The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audience.
Speaking of bad examples, let's talk about this Negro, Umar Johnson. Now, once again, Umar Johnson is on some race baiting foolishness. Now, he has posted a few days ago, he posted a cryptic message on his Instagram page where he was taking credit for the family of a student who attacked his teacher who's suing the school district. Now, if you're not familiar with the case, I'm going to play this quick news clip for you. Then we'll get into Umar and his antics.
This video shows a 6'6", 270-pound, 17-year-old student push his teacher's aide at Matanzas High School to the ground, where she goes unconscious. We stopped the video before it got more violent. Deputies say he was upset she took his Nintendo Switch in class. Flagler County deputies arrested the student, but it's not the first time he's been in handcuffs. According to court records, the 17-year-old was charged with battery in March of 2019, again a month later in April 2019, then in June of that same year, and again this month. Those court records also show he was in the Department of Juvenile.
Now, granted, that's a woman who he charged. He's 6'6", damn near 300 pounds. That's a woman. That's a woman. And Umar Johnson is advocating for the teenager. Let's go.
Justice's Diversion Alternative Program and completed his program. Fast forward to today, the state attorney's office has since transferred the teen to adult court for prosecution on these new charges. A decision Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley is on board with.
This individual is 6 months from being age 18. It was also a very brutal attack on this teacher's aide that fortunately did not result in a fatality.
Andrew Spar with the Florida Education Association says this case shows him there needs to be more help for troubled students.
Real quick, if you're watching this show live on Twitter, do me a favor, hit that retweet button for me. Help me get this off in the algorithm. Hit that retweet. If you're watching on Twitter, hit the retweet, hit the like button. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Students.
We need to be having a conversation about what kinds of supports were in place for this particular student or any students who may have shown past histories in which they have had altercations with others.
Sheriff Staley says there used to be a specific school for violent youth offenders, but it was shut down.
We had a school resource deputy assigned to that, basically, mini school, if you will, and that's been eliminated. So maybe that's something the district should look at.
And we did look into why that school was closed and found that back in 2013, Flagler County voters failed to pass a 50-cent property tax levy that would have paid for the school for troubled teens.
I mean, so there we have it. It's a ridiculous situation. But of course, Umar Johnson couldn't wait to hop on and race bait. Now, let me just say this real quick. For those of you who want to call me a coon or Uncle Tom or whatever you want to call me for disagreeing with the good doctor, imagine if that was your mom who was the teacher and a 6'6" student pummeled her over a video game. Would you give a damn about somebody claiming racism? I mean, first of all, he wasn't claiming racism. Umar Johnson made it racist. Right? But just think about this, man. Before we go pointing the finger at others and blaming them for something that this kid did, think about if that was your family member who got pummeled by a 6'6", damn near 300-pound teenager over a video game. Now, of course, Umar went on the record to advocate for this young man several times, like I said. And here's one of his rants. This is one of his rants, I think from November of last year, around the time that this thing first happened. So let's get to that. All right.
Even though y'all might have exploited this young black man for money, because we all know in the foster care system, the black children with the most problems get the most money. This is attorney E5 Tunde. This is attorney E5 Tunde. And I want...
Now he's an attorney. The whole doctor thing, I don't know if y'all remember, but the whole doctor thing has been challenged. He's never produced a degree, right? But everybody just let him slide with the whole doctor thing. Now he's attorney Ifatunde. Now I know he's joking, but his followers really eat this crap up. I'm telling you, they do. Let's go.
Now I want to submit to the court, before I present my evidence, that this young man needs to go free, and that the Flagler School District and the Matanzas High School and the State Department of Education for Florida owes this man compensatory education. They owe him restitution for exploiting him, abusing him, never properly educating him, or providing...
Abusing him. Abusing him. He's 6'6". Damn near 300 pounds. Who's abusing him? He's abusing everyone else. Yo, we gotta stop this, man. We gotta stop this, man.
Him with the appropriate mental health care. I'm also going to say that his white foster parents, I got to say it, if we're going to be honest, we're going to be honest tonight. I must also say respectfully to his white foster parents. Respectfully, I must say to Brother Brendan Depper's white foster parents, you failed this young black boy. You failed him as much as the school failed him. You failed him as much as Flagler School District failed him. You failed him as much as his teacher, his principal. You failed him as much as all of the white racist institutions in the state of Florida failed this young man. I have to say that. No disrespect, because I know y'all are up in age, but I gotta call a spade a spade. This young man has been your foster child since he was an infant. This young man has been your foster child since he was an infant.
You know what I find so weird? How is a man going to point the finger at two people who have been raising this child since he was an infant? That's not even their biological child. But Dr. Umar Johnson didn't even raise his own two daughters. This is the same Negro that was running around, justifiably so, crying about child support just a few years ago. But he has the nerve to chastise these people who were doing the Lord's work by raising this young black boy when nobody else would. His own parents wouldn't even raise him, but he's going to point the finger at his foster parents. What are his foster parents supposed to do? Think about it. You're growing up a kid. Okay, you got nice foster parents, but in the back of your head every day, the people who brought you into this world abandoned you and left you for dead. What are his white foster parents supposed to do about that? All they can do is what they can do. You're not in an orphanage eating porridge. What are they supposed to do? Like Umar, I'm telling you, man, like I know y'all love Umar Johnson, but this is all he does, man. All he does is find ways to point the finger at white people. Whatever happens, he figures out a way to shift the responsibility off the responsible party onto white folks. Even though in this particular situation, all the white people involved did the right thing. All the white people he's pointing the finger at did the right thing. The foster parents raised him. The teacher tried to deal with him. She got beat to a pulp for it. Anyway, let's continue, man.
This young man has been your foster child since he was an infant, and according to what I've researched, and forgive me for not having all the information, but I believe I have enough information here. given my experience, expertise, and training in the field of mental health. Remember, I am a doctor of clinical psychology. I am trained in the effective diagnosis and evaluation and treatment of mental illness.
But he's never met this kid. How can you, bruh, I don't understand you Negroes. How do you give this dude validity? He's trying to give a clinical diagnosis, which he's not technically, based on the certification he says he has, he's not able to do. But you're going to give a clinical diagnosis to a kid you never met, who you saw a news clip about and his face was blurred out. But you're going to give him a clinical diagnosis. Okay, let's go back. Listen to this crap. Listen to this.
Me for not having all the information, but I believe I have enough.
Listen to this doctor. Doesn't have all the information, but he has enough to give a clinical diagnosis of a kid he never met.
He was an infant, and according to what I've researched, and forgive me for not having all the information, but I believe I have enough information here, given my experience, expertise, and training in the field of mental health. Remember, I am a doctor of clinical psychology. I am trained in the effective diagnosis and evaluation and treatment of mental illness. I am a certified school psychologist. I am trained and experienced in the effective evaluation and classification of mental health.
I need a drink, man. This nigga, man.
Any attempt to restrict drinking and driving here is viewed by some as downright undemocratic.
It's kind of getting common is when a fella can't put in a hard day's work, put in 11, 12 hours a day, and then get in your truck and at least drink 1 or 2 beers.
They're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving, and pretty soon we're going to be calling this country.
All right, I got my drink. Let's continue with the good doctor.
Disabilities in the school system. So you dealing with an expert, 25 plus years in the game I've been. And to Brendan's foster parents, you failed this young man. You failed him.
He still hasn't said how they failed him. All he did was brag about his certification. He still hasn't said how they failed him. All we know is that they're white and they failed him. And he has 1 million certifications.
I don't even know why y'all bothered to be foster parents, so y'all was not gonna look out for this black boy. I hope y'all didn't exploit him for money. I hope y'all didn't exploit him for money. I'm not gonna spend too much time on y'all because y'all not the biggest issue here. Y'all not the biggest issue here because even though y'all might have exploited this young black man for money, because we all know in the foster care system, the black children with the most problems get them.
All right, and that's the end of that clip. So what I want to do real quick, so there's a recent IG post, which is why I talked about this, because I saw it on IG the other day. So I'm gonna get to that post, and then we're gonna get into our thoughts on Mr. Dr. Johnson. All right, where's this damn thing at? All right, so y'all see that? So this is a DM he got from somebody. It says, so article says the high school student who beat his teacher unconscious for taking his Nintendo Switch is suing the school district, blaming them for the attack. Remarkable. Lawyers for Brendan Deeper, a 6'6", 270-pound teen, say the school district is responsible for ruining Deppa's whatever. So then the person says, Brendan Deppa is suing the school district. I have to believe you are a big influence on this, Doc. So there we have it, man. As you can see, here is Umar Johnson passively, aggressively taking credit for the family's decision to sue. At this point, I think Umar is a paid agitator. None of his takes are making any sense anymore. And you can kind of tell that there's some sort of weird mainstream media push behind him, because he's popping up more and more on mainstream platforms. So what am I getting at? There are certain entities within the media that want to see a constant back and forth between regular white people and regular black people. And Umar, and it's plain to see. With Umar, it fits the plan perfectly. The more black folks that back Umar and his ridiculous talking points, the more we seem like the actual racists to the other side and a significant portion of the non-black society in general. And justifiably, because it basically contradicts everything we claim to stand for. So we're making ourselves look stupid by blindly following people like Umar Johnson, because the things that he has to say look crazy racist to everybody who's not black. It looks crazy racist. And it ultimately, it's going to paint us as public enemy number one. Ultimately. This is why I do this show. I got to call this stupidity out. We have to stop, take a step back, and realize where we're going with this. All of this victim mentality shit, all this, we can be racist, but they can't. This is going to put us in a corner that we're not going to be able to get out of one day. And unfortunately, there's not enough of you who are even ready to fight on the battleground to get us out of it either. As a matter of fact, it's mainly women running their mouths. Ain't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight, but want to talk trash and start a race war. You niggas are crazy, man. But I mean, look, you don't believe me? Go to Umar's Instagram page and read the comments on this post, on most of his posts. They're as racist as anything you'll ever read on 4chan. I mean, Umar has actually convinced his rather large following that the school system and his foster care parents are racist, and it's their fault that this big 6'6", damn near 300-pound Negro beat the snot out of his teacher over a damn video game that he probably shouldn't have had in school to begin with. But I digress.